welcome to Mecha Import's review of Deluxe Bison King. Here we see on the front Bison King in its two modes, and on the back here we have the combined mode as King Shrunken. Let's move on from the box. Straight away we have here the Bison King in its vehicle modes, which comprise of Star Ninja's personal Ottomanin, Rodeo Maru, and the Bison Buggy. The Bison Buggy, as we can see here, rolls quite comfortably. In fact, it's got two extra very small wheels on the bottom just here to basically prevent you from scratching up the front part of the Megazord, which is a nice little touch actually. Personally, I'm a big fan of the massive gun exhaust on the side there. Looks a lot better from that side. And it's obviously positioned so that Rodeo Maru can be sat quite comfortably in here, which he just clips into place, and you pop his head into position as well. As you can see, he's a little bit awkward. He does spring a bit. In fact, he just likes to fly, apparently. He doesn't actually like to fold down. There we go, that's him clipped. If anything, that could be Bandai saying, by the way, we're releasing a premium one of these later on in the year, you should probably buy that. Rodeo Maru himself has little to no arm articulation. You've got a little bit just through the shoulders here to allow it to take the riding pose, obviously. The legs bend the same way as Shinobi Maru, but there's no fist there, there's no port at the back there to connect him as an arm, unfortunately. What he lacks in posability, he makes up for in neck posability, which unfortunately is sort of difficult to get sitting in the right position in either mode. You can have him sort of sitting far too far forward or far too far back, and it's quite difficult at times getting the right angle when he is actually riding the buggy itself. But again, there will be a premium Bandai release of this guy coming out very soon in the year. I believe it's around August time, but I may be wrong, could be as late as September. So, more importantly, let's get this transformed into Bison King. All-important Ninshuriken. Now, personally, I like this mode quite a lot. I think the Ninshuriken actually being folded to look like a cowboy hat is really fantastic on here. I'm not a fan of these shoulders. They've got only a little bit of ratcheted joint work to them, which means positioning the gun is literally 90 degrees, or he's holding it by his side. But again, these are going to be fists later on. You understand that that's the maximum posability they could have given it. The legs, unfortunately, don't have knees like the Shurekenjin because of, again, the transformation into King Shurekenjin. The transformation instructions actually do not state that you are supposed to fold that piece down. It actually supposed to be left backwards like that. Personally, I fold it down and I fold the legs around like that. It makes it easier to fit on your shelf, which I know a lot of people are going to be worried about, especially with a massive amount of backpack like that. But overall, it's a nice sturdy figure. It's a little bit of a shame the legs don't seem to have as much posability as they should. It almost seems like they should be a bit wider, because when you actually set it down, they're not actually sitting flat on the floor. But the details are very nice, and personally, I'm a big fan of the gun in this mode. Again, I think it looks fantastic right here, and the Shuriken just sits perfectly on the top there, adding to the final motif. So now we shall move on to the King Shurikenjin mode. Now this is going to require pretty much disassembling all of Rodeo Maru, even into ways that didn't even seem possible at first. So let's just deconstruct it first and go from there. Now this thing is absolutely massive. You know, if we take, for example, the Shogun Megazord and put it next to it, you can see just how massive this is in comparison. I mean, we've said about the Lion Hato and how it makes another throne for this to sit on. I honestly think that if it didn't sit down, you would never be able to fit this on a shelf with the way that this is going, because this is just absolutely huge. I think, you know, the top here looks great. There's one annoyance that I do have with it, which is this crown piece at the top comes out so far, and then on top of it, you miss the very top of the shuriken because of the extra little bit of plastic on the back of the bull's head here. No, the bison head, sorry, not the bull head, but it's a shame because you just lose that detailing, and it also kind of means you have to look at King Shurikenjin sort of from an angle. Again, put him on a high shelf, he'll look fantastic, no one will ever complain about it, but you know, trying to look at it, you know, straight on, it's, you know, it's just angled just slightly off. I always look at this point here on the arm, and I should have mentioned this in my Shurikenjin review, just thinking that really should have been a good wrist joint. That would make a perfect elbow right now for this. Unfortunately, we're left with the same position once again of, you know, we only have, you know, ratchet shoulders on this figure, which is one problem, you know. But other than that, that's all I can really come up with. You know, they've addressed the only problem we could have possibly had regarding stability with that back piece here, which gives the the hips. It's a loss of posability, but the rigidity is fantastic. We've still got the knee articulation that we've had before. The feet, despite only being clipped on one clip, are actually really solid on this. So, you know, it's not going to just fall apart from, as you just saw, the shield piece breaking off of the sword. You know, other than that, it's very sturdy, it's very well put together, and, you know, the King Shurikenjin is definitely a winner in my book. And obviously just about to lead us up to the Lion Hato for it to sit on soon. But you know, definitely worth the buy. And once again, let's just listen to this sound clip. Love it. Now, there's one more mode for Bison King, which is mentioned in the instructions. We haven't yet seen it on the show, but we're going to do it anyway, and that is Shurikenjin Texas. So, if you just give me one moment. Extra mode nonetheless. Let's give him his gun just so he looks a little bit more badass. And there we have Shurikenjin Texas, which unfortunately the soundboard does not actually identify, which is a big disappointment more than anything else, especially as we haven't seen it yet on the show. You know, whether it's a real form or not, it's there, the potential's there for it. You know, it still looks quite good, but it's just a shame it doesn't have any other sounds to it. Thanks for watching this Mecha Imports video review of Deluxe Bison King. On sale now at mechaimports.com.